Rome, the most powerful city on earth, a place where emperors ruled, generals conquered, and a single public humiliation could destroy a man's life. But this story doesn't begin in the Senate or on a battlefield. It begins in a bathhouse. Every day, Rome's most powerful men gathered here to wash, to make deals, to build alliances, and sometimes to make enemies. Power followed them everywhere, even into the water. Then a stranger forced his way through the crowd. Shoulders collided, voices stopped. A hand struck another man across the face. The room froze, not because of the blow, because of the man who had been struck. The attacker's expression changed instantly. He stepped back and apologized desperately. Everyone waited, a shout, a punch, a command. Instead, the man simply brushed the water from his shoulder, looked at the stranger, and quietly said, "I don't remember being struck." That moment spread across Rome, not because it was clever, because it made no sense. Who was this man? And why did the strongest city in the world remember the one fight that never happened? His name was Cato. To understand that silence, you have to understand Rome. Rome wasn't ruled by armies alone. It was ruled by reputation. A general could lose a battle. A politician could lose an election, but lose your honor in public and the city never forgets. That made insults dangerous, not because they hurt, because they were weapons. A clever insult could destroy a career faster than a sword. The easiest way to defeat a rival was to make him lose control, which makes Cato's silence even stranger. He had every reason to fight back. Instead, he walked away, as if nothing valuable had been taken. How? The answer came from the last man anyone expected, a former slave. His name was Epictetus. He owned nothing, not even his freedom. Yet years later, senators traveled across the empire to hear him speak. Why? Because the slave had noticed something his masters never did. The men with the most power were often the easiest to control. A senator could command an army yet spend an entire night replaying a single insult. A wealthy merchant could own ships across the Mediterranean, yet become a prisoner of another man's opinion. The chains looked different, but chains were everywhere. Some were made of iron, others were made of pride. One day someone asked Epictetus about insults. His answer stunned the room. It is not the person who insults you who disturbs you, but your judgment about the insult. The room fell silent. It sounded impossible, until another Roman was forced to test that idea inside the most dangerous palace in the empire. His name was Seneca, teacher, statesman, advisor to Emperor Nero. From the outside, the palace looked magnificent. Inside, it was a place where one careless sentence could become your last. Seneca watched power corrupt the people who possessed it. He saw men destroyed not by enemies, but by anger. Living beside Nero taught him one terrifying lesson. The fastest way to control a powerful man was to wound his pride. And the more desperately someone defended their image, the easier they became to manipulate. Then, far from Rome, on a frozen frontier, another man faced the same battle. Only this time, the fate of an empire depended on the outcome. Winter, the edge of the Roman world. Beyond the river, an enemy army waited. Inside a dimly lit tent, the Emperor of Rome reached for a notebook. His name was Marcus Aurelius. History remembers him as a philosopher. His soldiers remembered him as a commander. But neither title reveals the man. By now, he had buried children, watched a plague spread across the empire, spent years away from home. Every decision he made could save thousands or condemn them. Yet every night he wrote to only one person, himself. Not battle plans, not speeches, reminders. Tomorrow you will meet arrogant people, ungrateful people, dishonest people. Why? Because Marcus wasn't preparing for them. He was preparing for himself. He understood something every emperor eventually learns. The greatest threat isn't always standing across the battlefield. Sometimes it speaks with a single sentence. A wounded ego has destroyed more rulers than enemy armies ever did. Marcus wasn't born calm. His journal proves that. He practiced every single day. Centuries passed, empires disappeared, but one question remained. What actually happens the moment someone insults us? Modern scientists discovered something remarkable. The brain reacts before reason has time to speak. Your heart races, your muscles tighten, your body prepares for danger. Not because words can wound the body, but because your brain treats social rejection as a threat. Then researchers noticed something even stranger. Two people could hear the exact same insult and experience completely different emotions. The difference wasn't the words, it was the meaning. One person hears, "You're a failure," and believes it. Another hears the same sentence and lets it pass. The insult never changed. Only the story inside the mind did. Without intending to, modern science had rediscovered the same invisible battlefield those Romans had been fighting all along. But history made one enormous mistake. It turned these men into statues. People imagine they have never felt anger, never felt fear, never doubted themselves. The truth is far more interesting. Marcus kept writing the same reminders because he still needed them. Seneca wrote about anger because he lived surrounded by it. Epictetus admitted the first reaction belongs to the body. Their goal was never to feel nothing. It was to make sure emotion didn't make the decision. That changes everything. Because now, the story returns to the bathhouse. The blow lands, the room freezes, the stranger waits. Only this time, we know what everyone else didn't. Cato wasn't pretending the insult never happened. He almost certainly felt the same flash of anger anyone would. But between the insult and the response, he found something most people never notice: a choice. The stranger could strike his face. He could never command his mind. That was the real victory, not over another man, over himself. Perhaps that's why Rome remembered this story. Not because someone threw a punch. Rome saw thousands of fights. It remembered this one because it witnessed something rarer than courage: a man who couldn't be manipulated. The marble changed. The empire disappeared. Human nature didn't. 2,000 years later, the battlefield is still here. Only now does it fit into a conversation, a comment online, a message on a screen, a careless remark from someone you'll probably never see again. The question has never been whether people will insult you. They will. The real question is the same one Rome asked in that bathhouse. Who becomes the author of your next thought?